How to improve your diet. Best tools in the kitchen so you can make food quite tasty and quite similar to what you're used to, so you don't have cravings for cooked food and junk food. Let's learn the main tools to be a personal chef for you and make the delicious, healthy food so you can enjoy for you and your family. Hi, I'm Dr. Corassa, clinical nutritionist from Brazil that have been living on a raw food diet for almost 20 years. And back then, I adopted the raw food diet quite easy. But I saw that like 99.99% of people have a hard time changing their diet because they're usually accustomed to their old habits. So they want a burger, they want some fries, they want pizza, they want pies, they want cupcakes, they want all these fancy gourmet junk food that people love to eat. I ended up going to the kitchen and learning how to make really healthy dishes so you don't have to fall back for cooked foods. You can enjoy your really healthy raw food meals, but in a more fancy way with these equipments. So I will show you my kitchen and what I have as equipment to uncook my food, how I prepare my food in a raw food diet. And for sure, you don't need equipment. I spent almost 3 years without using almost any equipment whatsoever, just a knife and a cutting board. But as soon as I wanted to teach people this lifestyle, this natural hygiene method of health through healthful living, I wanted to show people that we can create lasagnas, cupcakes, pies in a healthy way, that you don't use flour, you don't use sugar, you don't have to use salt, you don't have to use bad seasonings or cook your food for like an hour, 2 hours or something like that. I teach it for almost 14 years now, what I call cooking without fire, using a dehydrator, a blender, a food processor to create these wonderful meals. So stay there until the end so we learn the main tools, the price for each one, how much is each tool important in your kitchen. Hi, I'm Dr. Eduardo Corassa, a clinical nutritionist from Brazil that has saved his own life through lifestyle medicine called natural hygiene. I'm happy to announce that 4 of my 10 books published in Portuguese are now translated to English and available on ebook and print on demand. So the hygienic fasting, nature surgery, the anti-cancer diets, the lifestyle that fights cancer, the Eden's diets, the guide to raw frugivorism, the original diet, and natural delicacies, cooking without a stove are the perfect start for your new health journey, for a healthier, better, more longevity version of you. And unfortunately, because I teach lifestyle medicine, the podcast doesn't have any sponsors because there's no money in producing health. There's money in supplements, there's money in therapies, surgeries, treatments, but teaching lifestyle medicine, there is no company wanting to sponsor us. So I ask for your help for free. You can comment below, share the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button for notification. You help YouTube to deliver more our content to you and to other people. Also provide consultations online and in private sessions. There is the Raw Food Detox Retreats here January and July in Rio de Janeiro. 4 blocks from a beautiful beach, a tennis court on the yard, 350 rare fruit trees, and the best education on lifestyle medicine. So if you want to help the work grow, to help other people, and also help yourself, I highly suggest you to go in the description below for our website or for our WhatsApp. I will ask our editor to put here the recipes from the retreat. Besides the culinary, there's the practical application and also the scientific lectures. I hope you like the video. When you start a raw food diet, there's many things to learn, and there is even different kinds of approaches to raw food diets. You can go to a fruitarian diet that you need way less preparing or way less cooking, or you can go to a living food diet that usually uses a lot of preparation. I don't like too much preparation in my day-to-day because it takes too much time. I like to save time, so I just eat my fruits and vegetables primarily with my hands. I rarely do any recipes whatsoever for me. But I understand that people are in different points of their path to achieve perfect health, to achieve a better diet. So you may need really a blender or food processor every day to prepare your meals and to make them tasty so you can enjoy the fruits that maybe you're not used to it. Or you can juice the foods so you can actually enjoy some juice of some vegetable, of some fruit that you would never eat it raw, whole. So I think there is space for these tools in our kitchen. And if you want to improve your diet, this is what you should focus. Learning food preparation can make a really easier, more sustainable, consistent change, and also a lifetime change. So you change forever and don't go back to old habits of cooking, of junk food, etc. The main equipment I would say you need in a raw food diet is a good blender and a good food processor. This is a Vitamix, most famous brand of blenders. It's pretty good. This is a really good Vitamix, a new edition, but you don't need a Vitamix, just a good blender. And I highly suggest you to use a stainless steel cup, because if you cook something, if you heated something and throw in the blender, you are not going to leach the BPA and all these plastic toxins into your food, and this will not leach microplastics. So it's a much more healthy option for the cup of the blender, but you have to realize that this is like $200. So yeah, for sure, having a Vitamix and having a stainless steel blender cup for the blender, it's a little bit more expensive, but you don't need it. You can have like a glass jar, or you can have any kind of blender. You just need a blender, because when you ditch your oven, when you ditch your pans, this will be the new oven, the new cooking stove, and the new pans, the blender and the food processor. So this food processor is a Brazilian edition. You guys probably don't have in America or in Europe, but this is a bigger cup, the amount of cups in America, but this is 3.5 liters. You can see that this is a huge jar. So what I recommend is having a big food processor, or else you have to do the food in several batches. I have this one, I can make like 20 banana ice cream in just a minute for friends, for family, or when I'm teaching raw food gourmet. So I think it's pretty useful to have a good food processor, but the main thing you have to focus on is the size of the cup. I think in America it would be around 20 cups or something like that, 3.5 liters. You have to check it, just go on Google and verify the amount of cups in terms of liters, but it's one of, for sure, this would be similar, one of the biggest jars of Cuisinart they have. So another equipment on a raw food diet will be the dehydrator. For sure, when you dehydrate the food is not whole anymore. You have to understand that water is an essential part of food. It's maybe the most critical nutrient in the food. So dehydrating takes the water out of the food, and you are actually causing loss of nutrients, but loss of the main nutrient that is really underestimated, water. So do I use a dehydrator every day? No. Do I use it every week or every month? No. But when I have more bananas than I can use, when I'm teaching, this allows you to actually have a stove in a raw food diet. Because this is actually a stove, but a low temperature stove. You have the best of both worlds. You don't have the amount of heat that you have in a cooked food diet to cause as much loss of nutrients and formation of Maillard reaction end products, the cooked food toxins, but you also have the possibility of making those really nice dishes that need low moisture, low water content in the food. Why fruits and vegetables are not usually made into bread? Because fruits and vegetables have a high water content. So we make fruits and vegetables into juices, not into bread or pastry or pasta or all these kinds of things that people usually do with wheat, cassava flour and other kinds of rice flour and other kinds of flours. You have to understand that the low water content of these foods is actually one of the biggest issues for undernutrition. But Western nutrition is far away from comprehending that water is the most important nutrient of all. And so people just think that, you know, they dehydrate the water through cooking and then they drink a glass of water to compensate it and think it's the same thing. H3O, the water, the structured water in fruits and vegetables is far more important than just the water, the normal water that we drink from filters. The dehydrator, you're going to spend from somewhere $300 to maybe even more than that. Here in Brazil is way more expensive. We pay around 2,000 reais or 3,000 reais in one of these. The best brand of dehydrators in the world is Excalibur. And this is good Vitamix, goes around $350, maybe to $600 or even more than that. I paid this on discount, it was $320. And this food processor, when I bought, it was around 500 reais, less than $100. Maybe in America, you're going to pay in a Cuisinart $200, maybe a little bit more, but it's worth it. These three are probably the main essentials in a raw food diet. And then you have an electrical induction cook stove. You have electrical induction cooking material. I don't know the name exactly in English, but this for sure, it's cooking. It's not for 100% raw fooders, radical, etc. But I don't have a stove at my home. I don't have gas at my home. This saves me money with gas and gives me actually more security because a lot of bad things can happen with gas. Even the inhalation of the cooking gases can be detrimental for our health. This is induction, so you need a stainless steel pan, but the best part of this is that you don't have the release of microplastics, of heavy metals in your food, because aluminum pans have it. Teflon, etc. So you have a lot of issues with those kind of pans or pots. So this is a way healthier pan, and you don't need gas, you can use electricity. And I have electricity here in my home with solar panels. You can watch the video on how to be sustainable here on the channel. I'll put it on the description and in the cards above, so you can understand more how to even don't spend anything with electricity and when you want to cook your food. Do I use these pots and pans? Yes and no. For almost 14 years, I have almost never used it. I developed when I was 10 years a raw fooder. I developed an online course that is based on steamed plant-based foods, whole food. So I make a burger without using oil, without using flour, but using a stainless steel steamer like this one. For 10 years, I never even heated anything. And then in the 10th year, I made a few times a week these recipes to create the course. And then I spent more of 5 years without ever using a stove, without ever heating the food. And now for the last 2 years, I have been heating a little bit of my dinner, a little bit of the legumes and the grains that maybe I use sometimes. Why? Because I felt like I want to increase my weight. It's a silly, dumb idea, but men likes to bulk up. Men likes to look heavier. And for sure, I think the best diet and the best health is when you are a frugivore. I feel a lot better in a frugivore diet, and not just feel better, but I perform better in every way possible without grains and legumes. But for sure, you don't bulk it up. You don't look huge and you don't look bigger as you do when you eat grains and legumes. So I had to make a decision. I started weightlifting, you know, I was single. I wanted to look good for girls. So I changed a little bit of my diet, not because I think it's better, but because I think it would give me a better look. So I started to include some lentils, chickpeas or peas at my dinner, just for a small amount. But for sure, even when you sprout them, they're still quite starchy and not as tasty. I ended up heating them for like a few minutes, like 3 to 4 minutes, just so the starch break up, so you don't lose a lot of nutrients, you don't have the formation of the cooked food toxins, and the food is still pretty healthy and almost raw. Blame me for using sometimes some quinoa and some lentils or chickpeas that wouldn't be like a frugivore diet. But yes, we have different goals in different stages of life. I ended up causing a little bit of harm to myself, in my humble opinion. I ended up having a little bit less health to maintain my weight throughout the year, a little bit higher than it was when I was only primarily on fruits and vegetables. It was a decision that I made. You don't need this electrical induction cooking apparatus, but if you want to heat some raw food soup, just a little bit, as we call amornar here in Brazil, to warm up a little bit. So I will teach this technique afterwards in another video. If you want to learn this technique, just comment below how to maintain the temperature of the pan in 47 Celsius. That is the maximum limit to start cooking your food. There's a lot of tips for that so you don't cause damage. Just comment below. I want to learn to warm it up. So I will teach in a next video. Even if you want some tea, you know, like I don't drink tea, but if you want some hot water in your house and you have guests, I think it's a pretty doable thing to have, a pretty good thing to have at home. So this in Brazil is like 230 reais. Would be something around $50 or even a little bit less than that, $45. The pans are a little bit more expensive than usual pans because they're not aluminum or plastic, they're stainless steel. So each one would be around $20 or something like that, maybe $30 in Brazil, maybe in America it's a little bit different, I don't know. So then we go for the spiralizer. I bought this one actually in America and on Amazon. I think it's a pretty neat tool. You have different kinds of blades, so you can make different kinds of cuts in your raw food pasta. While we do it, we just stick the vegetable in here and we keep spiralizing, and the vegetable comes out the other way, looking like spaghetti or several different types of pastas. That is like $20 probably. It's quite cheap. It's quite useful. You don't need electric lights. You know, I think it's really good. I love to have cucumber spaghetti every night. I don't get bored of cucumber pasta. But for sure, you can do with zucchinis, carrots, and beets, with a lot of other chayores, a lot of other kinds of vegetables. So that is a pretty good tool and pretty cheap as well. Who wants to show up on the TV? And she's actually biting my mic. She's called Mulberry. Mulberry. So afterwards, we have juicing machine. This is a cooling machine, for sure one of the best kinds of juicers in the world. In America, there's the Nama juicer as well. Here in Brazil, we don't have Nama juicers, but cooling is actually in Brazil. This is pretty good if you want to do a juice fast, or if you're not used to fruits and vegetables and you want to start to introduce fruits and vegetables, or you have a lot of vegetables and you're afraid of wasting them. A raw vegan, you know, detox juice, celery juice. There's several kinds of juices that I already published here on the channel. You can learn more with these juices. This is an excellent tool to include. If you don't have a habit of eating fruits and vegetables, or you don't have the taste for it, taking out the fiber makes it easier to ingest a higher quantity of fruits and vegetables. For sure, the fiber is essential for health. I don't recommend you to take the fiber out or to drink a lot of juices, but it depends on where you are. If you're eating junk food, cooked food, or etc., if you're eating a lot of garbage and not having a healthy diet, even if it's a cooked food diet, I think this is a pretty amazing tool. If you're already a raw fooder and you manage to eat the foods with your hands, yeah, it's not as useful, but having your kitchen for maybe when you're receiving guests or things like that, it's a pretty useful tool. You can make you can even increase your vegetable intake if you are already a raw fooder and you don't have a lot of taste for vegetables. The next 4 tools will be the citrus squeezer, because with this, you actually have orange juice, but without losing the fiber. Because here there's a strain that you actually hold the fiber in here and then you can add to the juice afterwards. So it's almost as you know, not having orange juice because you still have the fiber on it. So I think it's pretty, you know, I don't have anything against it. I don't use pretty frequently, but maybe sometimes a few times a year when I want some orange juice. A coffee grinder. You can grind like flax seeds, chia seeds, and other kinds of seeds to make flour or to make, you know, like to add to some bananas. I already showed a recipe here in the channel where you mix bananas with flaxseed powder. It's pretty amazing. It's quite tasty and pretty nutritional, and it's like 2 to 3 ingredients. And the last two tools will be a nut milk bag. This for sure it's not like white, but it's cotton material, so that's why it gets a lot of the color from the juice. So it's pretty new actually, but still, when you use some beets or something to make the juice, you end up getting a different color. But this is a nut milk bag, so you can juice anything you want and just throw in here and strain it. You have the purest juice without any fiber whatsoever. It's pretty good to do almond milk and things like that. And you can make cheeses and milks, yeah, for sure. That a nut milk bag is quite useful. If you used to enjoy these foods and want to keep making nuts and milks. And then we have the mandolini. This is a pretty useful tool. It's actually a Chinese or Japanese tool where you can put the zucchini over here and you just slice the zucchini in thin strips. So you can do the lasagna and rondelli, cannelloni, and a lot of other kinds of Italian dishes and other kinds of dishes. It's pretty useful, it's pretty cheap. I don't know the price for it in America, but probably you can get for 20 to 30 bucks. A nut milk bag, cotton one, organic, you can get probably for 10 bucks. A juicer like this from Coofings, it's probably 300 or maybe more. And then this will be probably to 50 to 100 because I bought a stainless steel one, so the orange doesn't get in contact with plastic because, you know, there will be breaking of microplastics, so that's why this is different. Yeah, the coffee grinder is probably 20 bucks, 20 US or something like that. This is my explanation to having all these equipment and gadgets on my tool. So comment below what do you think of these tools. Comment below also what kind of videos do you want to see on the channel. If you want to learn the recipes to use these equipments, I highly recommend you to read Natural Delicacies, Cooking Without a Stove, one of my 4 recipe books that is already translated to English, is available on Amazon, print on demand, and Kindle. You can run to Amazon to read it. It will give cheeses and a lot of things. You can read it and learn a lot more how to use these tools to make delicious raw food gourmet. And also I highly recommend you to read The Eden's Diet. It's my main book. It's the science, the logic, and the practical application of how to apply a raw food diet to your daily living. So you have to understand what you're doing, or else you're not going to thrive and continue to do. So if you like the video and you like our work, please don't forget to share the video, comment below, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button for notification. And also, if you want my help as a clinical nutritionist, I can help you through consultation, online and in private sessions. My 4 published books, you can access them through the links below. And also, come for a retreat in Brazil here with us, and there's the online courses that will still be translated to English. And if you also want to help our work, you can become a member of the channel for a small donation every month. Click these videos to know more, and remember, health is produced by healthful living. Much frugal health. See you next time.